Gobble, gobble. I like that. That was a good one by you. We now welcome in NFL and CBS analyst Charles Davis to talk some Thanksgiving football. Let's start in Detroit. The Bills are playing in Motor City for the second straight week. They enter this matchup as heavy favorites, despite the Lions actually playing better ball over the past few weeks. Josh Allen looked to be back in usual form against the Browns, though he's only thrown for 2 total touchdown passes in 3 games. Their defense did hold the deadly duo of Chubbs and Hunt, which you probably didn't appreciate, to just 51 rushing yards. But the secondary was torched by Brissett for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. Charles, it feels like the Bills are still in a get-right spot. How did they do that against these surging Lions?
Well, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to both of you, and thanks for making me hungry. You're welcome. And wanting to reach for a winter coat at the same time. Okay, that opener and that tease. But Katie, I think for the Bills, they've got to play with some enthusiasm. They got to continue to do that and stay locked in. The last time my crew saw them with our own eyes in person, they were at the New York Jets. And I don't think very many people would say that the Jets are a better team than the Buffalo Bills. But that day they played better. They had more enthusiasm for it. Seemed like Buffalo wasn't totally locked in that one. As Josh Allen said in that tease to our segment, we haven't played our best ball lately, and that is true. They haven't really put it together and been consistent. They need to start doing that. I think on the offensive side, there's a good chance of that getting done. On the defensive side, you mentioned a number of pass yards they're giving up. As long as they're slowing down the running game and forcing people through the air, they'll survive that way. The yards won't matter as much as just how many times they get into the end zone. That's the big deal for Buffalo. Be locked in, play with some enthusiasm.
All right, well, you know who has enthusiasm is the Lions. They are riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're winless in their last 5 Thanksgiving appearances, a streak that they would definitely like to snap here. The defense has plenty to build on off of their win over the Giants. They forced Daniel Jones into 2 interceptions and sacked him twice. However, Danny Dimes is not Josh Allen. Can the Lions spook him?
Well, they feel like they can, because I go back to that Jets game, and there were a couple of interceptions Josh Allen threw. There was one that should have been intercepted. It was dropped right in the middle of the field. So they feel like they can get to him the same way if they play with the same type of verve and really daring do, for lack of a better term. This Lions team, and I know they're fans, you just mentioned they've lost their last 5 Thanksgiving Day games. It's tradition, and you go to the games, but they were going with low expectations. Off of this 3-game winning streak, expectations are much higher. They've got a quality opponent who was just there. They really believe that this could be their time. They've got to have the same formula. Take the ball away from Josh Allen, as the New York Jets did, as they did against the New York Giants, convert it into points. They do that, all of a sudden Jamal Williams has 12 touchdowns on the ground. He may add to that total, and we got ourselves a heck of a Thanksgiving Day game.
I can't help but notice the candles behind you there in your lovely setup. Do they have a pumpkin pie candle available?
We are working on that as we speak. Let me tell you, you asked for it, we're going to get it for you.
That is my #1 food on Thanksgiving. Got to have some pumpkin pie. Got to have it. The New York Giants, they got to have a win. They're coming off an upset loss to the Lions. Now looking to upset the Cowboys. Giants have lost 3 straight Thanksgiving Day games. Charles, what has to happen for Brian Daboll and the Giants to play spoiler in Dallas?
Well, first and foremost, Hakeem, do you do it with a little Cool Whip on top?
I do. I love Cool Whip. And it's got to be, I like my pumpkin pie in the refrigerator before I eat. I like it cold.
Cold, a little whip on top, and off we go. You and I are going to be friends for a long time.
Let's go. Let's break some bread.
Getting back to the Giants, first and foremost, their health is not good. Too many guys injured right now, unfortunately. This is what happens in this time of year and a short week coming up. But that doesn't matter. You still have to go out and play football. So what's been their formula throughout this season? Keep games close, get into the 4th quarter, and win it then. They've been excellent, been nails down the stretch. I think they're 4-2 now in games where they've trailed going into the 4th quarter and found a way to win it. If it's tight late, they believe they have the formula. But the key formula for them is their best players must play big. So about Saquon Barkley. He's got to be over 100 yards running the ball, and he's been their leading receiver as well. Daniel Jones, got to get back to being Danny Dimes and not Danny Turnover as he was last week against Detroit. He's avoided that for much of this season. That's been a big part of their formula. This is a time where your best players have to be at their best, and on the biggest stage against the Dallas Cowboys. They dropped one last week against Detroit. They thought they should have won. They're going to have to gain one back now in a backloaded schedule. And I have predicted either Dallas or Philadelphia, they've got a chance of getting. This is their last shot at Dallas. Could it be Thanksgiving Day?
All right, establish the run, protect the football. Cowboys are coming off a huge win against the Vikings, crushed Minnesota 40-3 thanks to their 2 running backs. Cowboys have dominated the Giants lately, winning 3 straight, 10 of the last 11 meetings, including a 23-16 road win in Week 3. Charles, how does Dallas take care of business on a short week?
Well, first and foremost, Katie, you've heard Hakeem and I, we're down with the pumpkin pie and the we'll find out what your flavor is in a minute.
Mac and
cheese. But in Dallas, well, hey, you never go wrong with a little mac and cheese, okay? We'll run it off later on.
Truffle on
Bottom line is, if you're Dallas right now, you know what you want on your plate? More Tony Pollard, please. Because what he is doing right now, we've been debating over the last year and a half if he should be the lead back for Dallas. They don't seem inclined to go in that direction. Ezekiel Elliott has still got value. It can still give you good ball games. But Tony Pollard gives you the breaking ability. He gives you the ability to shred you, whether he's running the football, whether he's catching it. You can use him as a slot receiver, obviously pure tailback. You know all those jet sweeps we use with receivers? Use them with Tony Pollard, who's a natural runner. We saw him really go off in Minnesota. They had no answer for him. I think Dallas will continue in that vein. If you're Kellen Moore, the offensive play caller, you look at your play sheet and it says 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. I can use him in any situation, and you should.
And you should. Well, the Patriots beat the Jets last week, but that offense left a lot to be desired. The Pats did not score a single offensive touchdown. The Vikings are loaded with high-end talent on offense. You got Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and TJ Hawkinson. They're all tough to defend here. It's going to be a great test for Bill Belichick's defense, especially if Mac Jones continues to struggle. How does New England pull off an upset?
Well, I think that they do it the way that they do it best. Make it messy, all right? You know how everyone says pass whatever at the table on Thanksgiving Day? Heck, if you really toss it and it ends up in the air and the cranberries and everything, that's fine for New England. That's how they want to play. They want to get you out of your comfort zone. They don't want you neat and precise. They want to damage everything that you do and really put a bulldozer into your plans. Because when they're able to do that, get you in the long yardage situation, and then turn Matthew Judon loose, who has 13 sacks for the year, that's when they are at their best. Slow down the running game, force you to try and throw it, make this thing messy, nasty, grimy. That's how New England wants to play, and that's what they did against the Jets. And that's a great Jets defense this year. They outlasted them by the punt return at the end. So good. If you're New England, that's your formula in this one, but it's not going to be easy to do against this Vikings team that's high flying.
Absolutely not. Minnesota coming off its worst game of this season, losing 40-3 at home. The Vikings managed just 1 third-down conversion in 11 tries against the Cowboys. And now they got to go up against Billy B and the Pats. The Patriots allowed just 2 yards of total offense in the final 30 minutes versus the Jets. How do the Vikings bounce back against another stout defense?
Well, first of all, Katie, Earth to Vikings. They got that call last week against Dallas because before they were taking their coat off, they were taking their tie off, their shirt off. They were dancing on the plane, had the chains going, you name it, they were doing it. I've told people you will not see me do that, and the world is grateful. Thank goodness we don't see him with his shirt off. No one needs that. But they were having so much fun. They stole one in Buffalo. That was a huge win against a team that everyone knows is a Super Bowl contender. And then Dallas brought them back to earth. So it's reset time, all right? Get started again. And how beautiful is it for Minnesota? They don't have to wait an entire week to go play. Get the taste out of their mouth right now. This team is itching to get back out on the field and get back to being that Minnesota team we saw that started 8-1 before that loss against Dallas. Now they understand one more time. Remember how tough it was to win all those games? It's not easy. You don't just throw your helmet out there against anyone and get it done. And they know what kind of challenge they have against New England coming up. So a good reset from Minnesota, and here's their opportunity. And if you're Kirk Cousins, aren't you sick of hearing people like us talk about your record in primetime games? You're absolutely sick of it. This is a great opportunity to put that to rest, at least for a big week.
It is a great opportunity, but can he do it?
You know what he has?
What does he have?
Kirk Cousins. He's got a heated garage, Charles Davis.
Oh, the heated garage. Yeah.
Got to have one in Minnesota. Got to have one.
One in Minnesota.
That's a sign of intelligence, all right?
I love it. Right there.
That young man understands. Remember, he grew up in Michigan. He gets it. Heated garage, sign me up, please. Thank you.
Let's go.
All right, heated garage and hopefully a win on Thanksgiving. That is our Charles Davis. Thank you so much for your time.
Take care, guys.
Bookmakers expect this game to be a close one, which bodes well for the Vikings. Minnesota is a perfect 7-0 in single-scored games. This season, they're just the sixth team to do that through 10 weeks since the millennium. Turkey stuffing and the Lions as an underdog. The comforts of Thanksgiving. While football in Detroit and Dallas have been a Turkey Day tradition, sports betting has just recently taken a seat at the table. But no worries, we've got some trends to get you up to speed. Listen up and we'll make sure that your wallet is just as stuffed as your stomach come Thursday night. The Lions have played annually on Thanksgiving since 1934 and the Cowboys since '66. Home cooking and a familiar schedule should give them an edge, right? Wrong. Both squads have the exact same mark against the spread since 2004, an underwhelming 7-11. There hasn't been a single Thanksgiving during that span where both teams have won and covered. While we give thanks, Vegas gives points to the Lions. They've been an underdog on Turkey Day 14 times since '04 and have covered just 3 of those spreads. This year, the Bills have arrived in Detroit early and are favored by 9.5. The offenses are expected to feast. The total, 54.5. It's the highest for a Lions Thanksgiving game since 2011. Detroit has been serving up more points than any team this season, allowing over 28 per game and cashing at over 70% of the clip. The Cowboys, the afternoon slot, well, they have the role of favorite for the 9th time in their last 15 Thanksgiving appearances. They're laying 10 to the Giants, but beware of pouring gravy on America's team to cover the number. Dallas has failed to cover 10 of their last 11 games on Thanksgiving. They've gone just 4-7 outright during that span, including 3 straight losses. It smells like something is burning. The primetime Thanksgiving matchup has been around since 2006. Whether you're chasing or doubling down, there's some strong trends to back here. Favorites in the nightcap have gone 13-2 against the number. And unders are almost as profitable, hitting at 11 of 15 times. This is the first time the Vikings get the primetime slot on Turkey Day. Kirk Cousins' struggles in primetime are well documented, although it's Monday, not Thursday, that's given him nightmares. Cousins has actually won 2 of his 3 TNF starts with Minnesota. The Patriots are playing on Thanksgiving for the first time since 2012, a blowout win against the Mark Sanchez-led Jets. There are just 2 words that come to mind with that game: butt fumble. Here's your full Thanksgiving menu. The Vikings are laying 2.5 to the Patriots in the late game. The Lions are seeking a 4th straight outright win as an underdog, something they haven't done since 1999. Those are the Thanksgiving Day trends.
Yeah.
But let's hear from our analyst. Let's welcome in Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and data scientist Mike McClure to dig into this very feasty Thanksgiving Day plate.
Yeah, it can't be better than this, right? 3 Turkey Day kickoffs, 2 terrific analysts will size up the day. And Katie, that first Thanksgiving kickoff offers a Lions team that's won 3 straight for the first time since 2017 against Buffalo Bills team, playing at Ford Field for a 2nd straight week after Sunday's win over the Browns, snapping a 2-game slide, entering Thursday's game in as a 9.5-point favorite. And as we look at the total, which is 54 and a hook, consider both teams have 5 30-point games this season, tied for the best in the league. Let's get some insight from Emory Hunt and Mike McClure. And Emory, while that total may be tempting, the Lions are a team playing at their best, getting 9 and a hook at home. So what's the play?
Well, it's like that first plate of Thanksgiving food. You tend to go overboard. You're going to pile up the plate, all different colors all over the tray and everything. This is what this game is going to be. So I do like the over because I think both teams will go back and forth on each other's defense. But because I like a high-scoring, fast-paced, back-and-forth game, I'm taking the Lions plus 9.5. I think they'll do a great job in front of their home crowd, playing it close, keeping this one very competitive throughout. They're on that 3-game winning streak, and I think that means something for this football team. I like how Jared Goff is finding options in the passing game, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, and defensively, Aiden Hutchinson is finding the football. He plays defensive end. So I do think they'll find a turnover or 2. They'll keep this one going back and forth with Buffalo, who can score at a high clip. But I like this one to be under 9.5.
I'm right there with you, Emory. I'm taking the Lions plus 9.5 here. Look, this is a difficult spot for the Buffalo Bills. It is a travel spot for them. They went back and forth here. They've got the distraction with the holiday and the weather in the week before. the goal for them at this point really is to stay healthy and get out with a win and move on, not necessarily to keep and run it up. That's going to keep the Lions in this football game. Furthermore, the Lions play much better at home in this domed, controlled environment. Really suits their style of play nicely here. I think that the Lions are able to keep this one close. I'll take the 9.5 here.
Turkey, pumpkin pie, and watching the Cowboys are Thanksgiving traditions like no other. The boys and the G-men both sport 7-3 records. However, public perception could not be more opposite. The line opened up with Dallas favored by a touchdown, but was quickly bet up to 10 following their beatdown of Minnesota. Emory, the Giants just looked lost against the Lions. Does this entice you to go chalk and take Dallas?
Yes, reason being because this is the second part of Thanksgiving where you fly through the dessert menu. Some people like pumpkin pie. Some people fall on the side of sweet potato pie. I tend to be on that side myself. So I feel as though when you see this line at -9, looking at the Giants' injuries, how banged up they are on defense, how limited they are offensively without Saquon Barkley that's going to have to run for 200-plus yards in this game, you lay these 9 points with the Cowboys. Their biggest strength is their passing game and their ability to hit explosives, and it jives up perfectly with what the Giants are weaker on now defensively because of their defense. And I feel like because we're missing an Evan Neal, because they're missing some other people up front, that's going to put Micah Parsons in that pass rush at an advantage and put Daniel Jones at a disadvantage. So, yes, take it right now while it's 9 before it creeps back up to double digits.
I like it, Emory. I'm going to go under the total here, though, under 45.5. I think this number is just a touch too high, especially on a short week here. I want to highlight the fact that the Giants are also basically going to be without 4 offensive linemen who have started during this season so far. They know the recipe for them to win this game is to not need to score 30-plus points. They know they're not winning if it requires 30 points to win this one. Last time they played, 23-16 loss to Dallas. I'm expecting a similar result here at this point, though. The Giants are going to still try to run the football with Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones not going to have a ton of time to throw. We're going to see him running a little bit. We're going to see a lot of dump-offs. And then on the Dallas side, we've got Zeke back. We've got Pollard back there. As much as they're going to have some success through the air, they're still going to pound the football, eat some clock. They're going to run away with this game, but it's still going to stay under the total of 45.5.
Yeah, the Giants not only suffering injuries on that offensive line, 2 starting corners are both out for the game, so they're hurting on both sides of the ball. The capper of the trio of Turkey Day kickoffs offers a Vikings team licking their wounds, as Katie mentioned, following the beatdown at the hands of the Cowboys. Home to the Patriots. They're coming off that stunning finish against the Jets. Game's lone touchdown scored on a punt return with 5 seconds to go. Minnesota has the worst point differential by a team 8-2 or better through 10 games in league history. They've given up 2 more points than they've scored. The Vikes are favored by 2.5. The total here is 42 and a hook. Mike, you playing a side or eyeing that total?
I'm playing the side here. I'm going Minnesota -2.5. Look, I think this is an extremely excellent get-right spot for them. I love that it's on a short week. Look, I've been on the Patriots the last few weeks. I like this team. I think that they're fine defensively. I don't think they're elite defensively. I think we need to look at their last few games and understand they faced Zach Wilson twice, Sam Ellinger once. Before that, they played Justin Fields, gave up 33 points, and got destroyed. Love this bounce-back spot. It's a home field advantage for the Vikings, one of the better ones in the NFL. Furthermore, the Patriots, without the starting center, not a great recipe on a short week in a more hostile road environment. I make this line -5.5. I'm stunned that we're getting it at 2.5. I don't care how chalky it is. I'm laying it here with the Vikes.
Man, we always have that one relative that brings food that you know they can't cook, and the mac and cheese not supposed to be that color, peach cobbler not cobbler, and that animal that you brought, I'm pretty sure is still living. That's Kirk Cousins in a primetime matchup. This is a primetime game. Stay away from this. Take the Patriots on the money line. I like the way their defense matches up against what the Vikings want to come in and do. They want to come in and get Dalvin Cook going. I think we'll see them stop the run and force Kirk Cousins to beat them throwing the football, using other targets outside of Justin Jefferson because they'll roll coverage to his side, take him away, and force those other options to beat them consistently. That's how they'll win. They'll win with their defense and their run game. We saw Dallas have success running the football against Minnesota. The Patriots will do that. Run game and defense still helps you win games in the NFL, and they'll help the Patriots knock out the Vikings on Thanksgiving night.
So, Emory, Kirk Cousins is that plate of Brussels sprouts you stay clear of, right?
Did it dirty.
If I eat now, I eat the Brussels sprouts, but I definitely will stay away from mashed potatoes. That's what it is right now.
Really?
For me at this
Mashed
production.
potatoes.
Wow,
Not a big mashed potatoes guy.
that's a shocker right
I
there.
love
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know, right?
Kirk Cousins is not mashed potatoes. Kirk Cousins is more Brussels sprouts. I'm on board with Jim.
Happy Thanksgiving to Emory Hunt and Mike McClure. Here's a look at how they're sizing up our trio of Turkey Day games. Bills, Lions both in lockstep. They like Detroit getting the 9.5. They're split on the Giants and Cowboys. Emory likes Dallas laying the 10, while Mike is focused on the under, that total at 46.5. With regards to the late game, the Pats and Vikes, Emory on New England on the money line, while Mike is laying the 2.5 with the Vikings at home.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.